And in fact, I don't think you're meant to piece it together, because I don't think the actual Silent Hills was meant to
together.
Jorge, what did you have a particular title you wanted to call this topic?
I know what I don't want it to call it is, which is what I was gonna call it. It's PT retrospective, but that's too. Like today, I looked up PT retrospective, and there's like half a dozen videos, if not a dozen, that already call that.
I wrote in a work in progress title that is past tense: the legacy of PT.
Kind of, this is cute. As long as we have the letters PT in there.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if there's some kind of wordplay you can do with the P and T sounds of podcasting. Playable podcast. Talking, teasing,
podcast teaser,
trolling. Might need to consult a thesaurus, but playable is workable for both formats. But the T might be something that you could
podcastable teaser.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, no, podcastable teaser, beautiful. Jorge's laughing. I'm impressed. I think you should go with that one.
Podcastable teaser.
I like it. Brilliant. Great job.
Okay. That's definitely what I can call it, but I'll just introduce it as the legacy of PT. Cool. Excellent, wonderful, and also good.
We have to say podcastable teaser at some point.
Podcastable teaser.
That is so good. You have to use it.
Okay, I'll use.
Did you hear my reaction?
Teaser.
Yes.
We have to say those words, and we cannot.
Good.
We just have to say them casually.
Good. Anyways, yes, we can call it podcastable teaser.
Beautiful.
Casually. Like just say it. Just say it matter of factly. That's the way I want.
This is tangentially related, by the way, but I miss the era where every DS game had to have the letters D and S in its subtitle. I think that was really clever.
Like Resident Evil Deadly Silence.
Devil Survivor, Shin Megami Tensei.
Dust Strikers.
Advance Wars Dual Screen.
Dust Strikers.
That was the Guilty Gear DS game.
Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow. It was cute. I liked it a lot. I miss that. I don't know how you do it these days, but like...
Nah, you can't.
No.
I feel like the DS was like the last time they did that kind of shit.
The last time games were fun.
Well, no, because the 3DS had a bunch of games that just had the 3D in it.
Yeah,
like Kirby
not
Triple
the same.
Deluxe was that's kind of a wordplay.
Yeah, okay, that works. I'll give them that one.
Yeah. They were doing that shit. We used to me and my friend at work, we used to joke and call it Kirby Triple D. And I thought that was funny at the time.
I always find it really funny when people abbreviate King Dedede's name in Smash Brothers to D3.
I hate that, actually.
It's weird.
D3 already means something else. Dark Dreams Don't Die.
That's D4.
No, you're thinking something else too.
Dark Dreams Don't Die.
Oh yeah, that's 4. Fuck!
Welcome to Brain Lords, Video Games of the Mind, a panel discussion between artists and the art they love. I'm your host, Kyle. I go by Cute Monster Props, and I'm a special effects artist from the video games industry. I work at Vulpin Props, making trophies for major esports tournaments, as well as life-size items, weapons, and characters from your favorite games. With me, as always, is my co-host, Jorge. Jorge, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Jorge, and I can't count. I am... J-Man Velas online. I'm a graphic designer, illustrator, currently at Fangamer. I draw shit. We have a guest today.
We do. You draw the shit out of things, Jorge, but let's get to our very special guest today. He's controlling beasties with his mind in the Celtic Highlands. He's still waiting for Godot. Or is it Goddo? He'll happily give you a spiel about any number of Kriegs. He's playing games in black and white just as they were intended. George Weidman, aka Jorg, aka Super Bunnyhop, aka the host of Metal Gear Mondays, aka the guy that might reform both USA, HOA, and Airbnb laws.
Hello. My name is George Weidman, and I was just on the phone with lawyers yesterday while I had a tab of like Metal Gear video essay in another window, while like holding a cute little dog who loves me in my hand at the same time. As I was also cleaning the weird discolored gunk out of my carpet from the fire in the apartment building that we're trying to square away. Yes,
Hey,
my name's George, a man of many mysteries.
A fire.
Yeah, my condo tower caught on fire
a
year and a half ago, and that's really when the HOA fiasco got swinging into full gear. That was the realization that this needs to get worked on by someone.
Dude, every time I hear about that, you're going through some shit. Like it just escalates the more I learn about it.
Well, technically, the fire was a year and a half ago. This was in January of 2024, and the building has never gotten their insurance payout from the fire insurance company because of a lawsuit where they're alleging all sorts of shenanigans about how the paperwork was filed out. Yeah, it goes on, and I don't want to bore people with procedural details so much as I want to excite people about the reality that when it comes to hyperlocal political issues, there actually is something that a lot of us can do on an individual level that makes a difference in your community.
Yeah, I commend you for being a stickler to the local assholes in your HOA.
Yes, and with that respect, please follow my example. I want to make an example of myself for other people to follow, because God knows these times are ones where we need that kind of energy right now.
Yeah, it's genuinely admirable, George. I do appreciate that you're fighting back against that.
Thank you. I just hope it works.
I do too. Well, we have more important things to discuss, like video games.
Stop, Kyle. What the fuck?
The most important thing, you
the
mean?
The most important thing for the most oppressed group, the gamer.
Are video games art? I don't know. Maybe we should ask again for the 999th time. Yeah, the most important question, the most important debate.
Let's go.
Well, today's topic is past tense, the legacy of PT.
Yeah.
Yes, in today's podcastable teaser, a game that never was, PT is a notoriously difficult game to discuss given that you can't even play it anymore, and yet it has a death grip on modern horror. In the first of a two-part episode, we're discussing the plot and development of PT, and if the game exists beyond its controversies and creators.
I can't play it anymore.
You can't play it anymore?
Yeah, it's been permanently deleted from my PlayStation.
I have endured psychological trauma from the
psychological trauma, that's another good PT phrase.
from the plethora of theses that people tell me about with regards to other ways that you can still play PT. So
this is a very problematic tirade you're going on.
Perhaps the
That's an article adjective. It does not count.
There is an Unreal fan-made port to PC that is personal typing machines that you do work and play games on. Someone's, I don't know if it was a team or an individual, did port PT over to PC to make a relatively faithful recreation. About a year and a half after launch, they also started popping up methods on how to not break, but I mean, in the real sense of the word, actually fix and make good your PlayStation 4 so that you could play all sorts of
jailbreak it, as it were.
Unlocked. Yeah, I really wish they called it jail fixed, though. Maybe society would have a more positive association with that concept.
Incarceral reformation on your console.
Maybe if we something
a prison transformation. Maybe?
Yes, there we
go. Let's fucking go. Well, let's just roll straight into our talking points, boyos. Talking point number 1. So what's the deal with PT anyways? Can we go over what actually happens in the game and what is special about PT compared to other horror works?
Wow, that's a pretty terrific starting point, Kyle.
I think it's great in that you can tell it's a good game because it's an extremely simple game to describe, but actually describing what's appealing about it is going to be infinitely complicated.
Yeah.
And complex because it's a first-person adventure, horror adventure, where you walk through a looping hallway and look at things. And that is a perfectly accurate description of the game and how remarkably simple it is.
Yeah. And yet, it's like, once you start getting into the game, if your goal of playing it is to see it through to the end, you find that you can very easily get stuck and like not know what to do.
It's cryptic as hell.
Yeah, like it starts out, it's a very simple premise. Starts out, you just move until shit happens. And then there comes a point where shit stops happening and it's kind of demanding of the player to figure it out in like the most vague and cryptic way possible.
Yeah, I think that's one of its first boons, is the game is asking a lot of you. It's not necessarily the most like heady thing, but it's asking you to like observe a lot, to take a note of a lot, to be very patient, and you get as much as you put in with this game.
It thrives on ambiguity.
Yeah.
There is a constant sense, and what I think really plugs into a very effective sense of horror, is that the rules of this game are ambiguous and you never really will have it figured out.
Yeah.
I still have it installed on my machine and played it a bit before we started, and I was not able to trigger a lot of the events that the walkthroughs were talking about in nearly the same way that they describe. And the reason being, I think, is because I should have deleted my save game before starting over.
Oh.
I have not played this in many, many years and kind of forgot that was part of the procedure. But while I was going through it, I was able to do some things, but not a lot of things, and not everything. And I was confused, and I was scared. And then I did something, and I was relieved and thought I did the right thing, but it turned out I didn't. And I really was genuinely spooked. I was playing this in the broad daylight, and it's not just the visual aesthetics. It is the sense that they're as simple, mechanically simple as the control scheme is. There is like a real scary chasm of ambiguity to all the button presses you make on your controller, where you're constantly second guessing whether or not you are pressing the right thing or whether or not you even understand the system at all. Even the walkthroughs will disagree with each other on how to complete this game, and that's something that I think is still unique to it compared to the things that inspired.
You do not get that in other games, because even games that are purposely obtuse, your Bindings of Isaac and stuff like that, those get so data mined that even the most cryptic stuff can get figured out. And sometimes it is a big community-driven effort. There's ARGs and things like that, but largely like those do get solved or worked through eventually. But the fact that PT is still so ambiguous, and the fact that it's a spooky game about noticing subtle things going wrong in your environment, like it's just kind of perfect. Like the medium is the message.
I think one of the reasons it hit me so well just now when playing it, and did not trigger a lot of the disillusionment and burnout that I really do unfortunately associate with most video games now at my current age, is that it's this game design orthodoxy to have consistent rules. If you watch the extra credits video on Dark Souls from like 12 years ago, they will tell you that good games have consistent rules. And no one really disagrees with that, but I think one thing everyone does agree on is that monocultures are bad, and that when everything is the same, that is the sign that something is wrong necessarily in society. So this is a game where there is no consistent sense of rules. This is breaking orthodoxy, and with that respect, it actually does still feel kind of fresh and unique and weird, and and it got me. It did get under my skin.
I love that games too are uniquely good at breaking their own rules. They're kind of the only medium that can really do it. Like some books can do it that will mess with how you're reading a book. Some plays can do it with how you're supposed to interact with the play.
Y'all can't see George's reaction right now.
I'm just saying, that games are uniquely good at setting up the means at which you are supposed to interact with them and saying, nope, not anymore.
Okay, I would caution against a certain sort of attitude of gamer exceptionalism here.
That's fair.
Because one of the things that does cause me disillusionment these days is getting into other mediums and finding postmodernism is a century-long artistic movement for fairly valid reasons, and it's because after
being done,
everything is full of examples of things second-guessing themselves, and I would highly recommend everyone read through James Joyce's Ulysses at least once, because whenever video games, I would argue nowadays are remarkably following an orthodox that it costs so much money and represents so much financial risk to big companies to make an experimental art game that gamers as an audience have been conditioned to accept orthodoxy and convention, and that it does make the weird stuff stick out harder, but it's not. This is certainly not absent in other artistic mediums at all.
What I do feel works with PT is that, well, number one is that breaking of the orthodoxy in a game that's going to be played by a lot of people. I feel like that kind of impresses me in a way, because the developers knew this and they created an experience that was supposed to be figured out by a community. This is the reason and I want to go back to the obtuse and vagueness of it. The reason it works in this game is because it's by design. It's intentional. It's not like an accident. They wanted everyone to play it and get together and figure it out. And they wanted it to be through hearsay and rumors and internet posts and like just the communication of like all the things that are in it. Like, well, how did you figure this out? I don't know. This is what I did. And then everyone gets together and figures that out. And I feel like, to me, that's where the true game lies, I guess.
It's means of being distributed and being obtuse.
Well,
was more like, the game than the game itself, is what you're saying?
I'll get into why this is kind of a crazy, or not crazy, but why I think this is where the I don't want to say radical. That's kind of excessive, but like there's something that they dare to do, and I'll get into something else later that I feel was also intentional and still happened. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like, don't like. I guess we do have to be careful with the like, oh, this is the medium of games. I think what is really at play here is the medium of communication, like the engagement of people with each other rather than like isolating themselves into this experience.
Yeah,
and then
I think it is amazing that like it's a teaser that you don't even know what. Well, I mean, it's just called PT when it came out, but like you didn't even know what the game was teasing initially. So like the fact that there was an air of mystery.
A playable teaser before people figured out what it was.
Wasn't it called something else when it launched?
It is hard to say because Hideo Kojima thought it would take people a week to figure it out, and it really took like a day.
Yeah.
That's just anything.
So you underestimated the power of people with no time in their hands.
By the time I really got my hands on it, the PT referring to a playable teaser had already been well enough established, but I don't know for sure. I don't have the facts in front of me. I might be wrong, but I do think it was not called playable teaser in an
That's what
official
I think
capacity,
too.
and that the fans dubbed it that after they got to the ending.
I think it was referred to as playable teaser, but I just don't know if it was before or after, and I have a feeling it wasn't before. Everyone just called it PT, and I was like, well, what does it mean? Because I remember people speculating like, okay, T might mean trees because of the picture in the menu. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, the menus don't say playable teaser. They got a false developer name. It's like 7786 Studio.
Yeah, 7780S, I think it was.
And even then, I feel like the word teaser is kind of underselling just how much there is to explore and read into there. Because actually committing to it and figuring it all out or even following a walkthrough is going to take you an hour or two. And that is remarkably long for anything else I have heard called a teaser.
Yeah. And that's if you know what you're doing.
So real quick, can we, just so we're all on the same page, can we discuss the literal plot, the in-universe things that happen in this game?
It's remarkably simple.
Yeah. Someone killed their family, and you're kind of piecing it together. Although,
a series of strange radio broadcasts dictate a couple of grisly murders from like older males killing their families, and you are investigating a house that may or may not be like it's really ambiguous as to who you actually are in the story.
Yeah, and why you're there. You're not necessarily investigating. It could be you're like the person who did it, you know. It's all vague in these details, like and it wants connected to be.
I think you're trapped in some kind of purgatory hell. You are trapped in an otherworldly purgatory hell type situation where the traumatic final memories of this murdered family are haunting a visage of the house they were murdered in, and you might be the murderer. For some reason, you are being haunted. I don't know if you guys got grabbed by the ghost enough times to notice, but she's smiling. She enjoys haunting you and grabbing you. And then when you wake up afterwards, there's tally marks all over your concrete room that the fans have dubbed a cell, as if it's a prison cell.
Well, also the talking bag and like the radios seem very like coy at you too. Actually, the game is a little sadistic towards you.
But at the end of the game, the camera pulls out and reveals that you are Norman Reedus, and Norman Reedus is not the husband in the photos.
No.
So I think there's ambiguity. There's some kind of connection. Maybe there's a change of perspective. If I'm also kind of remembering it well, maybe you're the murderer father in the hallways, but in Silent Hills you were supposed to be the son who grows up to be Norman Reedus or something.
Yeah. There's a bit of speculation because of the mirror scene where you can't really see your face early. No matter how hard you try, it's just like covered and obscured. Yeah. And there's also a moment, one of the radio lines I think is like talking about like it's one of the hints we can get later into it. They refer to like, I saw myself in the mirror, and you're like, oh, like, am I related to this somehow? Like, is that supposed to be like me? But yeah, as the camera pulls back and reveals who it is, it's not the person in the picture. So it wants you to not only piece it together, but just kind of ruminate on it. And in fact, I don't think you're meant to piece it together, because I don't think the actual Silent Hills was meant to
together.
I don't think the actual Silent Hills was like going to directly connect to the teaser itself. At least that's what I gathered from like reading interviews and stuff. But
yeah, and that's a pretty great hook for a spooky game. Is weird murders are happening, we don't know why, and you don't even know who you are in this equation.
Yeah, they were just playing with terror.
Oh, perfectly timed, Jorge.
So the paper bag with the gunk inside says, "I walked."
The paper transporter.
I walked. I could do nothing but walk, and then I saw myself walking.
Yeah,
which is kind of sort of a description of what happens when you play through the game.
Yeah,
So if you see yourself, then maybe you are Norman Reedus. Maybe the clothes in the mirror are kind of similar, but the haunting is very personal. Like it is like whoever you are is being targeted very specifically for the ghosts getting some sense of revenge.
Yeah, some sort of personal terror.
And then and then once people found the connection of it being like a Silent Hill teaser, then like, oh, the name Lisa, it's like Lisa from Silent Hill 1, and then it's like just I guess it's just kind of like priming you to like, I don't know, wax poetic about it, I guess.
Yeah. If anything, too, the most interesting thing about the game is like having no connection to the Silent Hill lore, excuse me. Like, it's a pretty good hook for a game already. It does not need any of the baggage or assumptions that you could make.
It doesn't really need the previous narrative.
I'm giving everyone points, and you just got a deduction.
No, hey, come on, I'll try better.
Yeah, for your pathetic try.
Well,
why don't we get on to the next topic then, which is how much stock should we put in the theory of PT being about Konami?
Just raspberry. I mean, it I don't like it either. It reads too much into meta narrative, like especially when it has to do with industry manners and what like, I don't want to call it drama, industry like affairs from people who like have no introspection into this, and from a company that's like very tight-lipped about shit like that. It's always going to be speculation. It's always going to be like
let me rephrase it then for you.
Sure.
What about its controversy is worth preserving?
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, because like whether or not the story of the family getting murdered is supposed to represent the painful trauma that Kojima might have been feeling while leaving Konami is such a stretch. That's slash our never be game over stuff, and generally, as a rule of thumb, being a Kojima fan, they're usually wrong. That the never be game over subreddit is absolutely embarrassing now. The mysteries about what sort of games they were playing have been solved. The answers are less exciting than most fans want to believe, and also the departure of Kojima from Konami happened so fast that and it takes so long to make a single game that there would not have been enough time to bake some subtle themes in there about an alcoholic father murdering his family but claiming that demons possessed him, being a metaphor somehow for a greedy corporation mishandling one of their biggest moneymakers.
Yeah. I think it is at least fair to say that like Kojima loves putting himself and aspects of himself in his games. These games love their Easter eggs, and I think that is a very fun part of playing him and his studio's games. I think it's pretty fair to say that he writes a lot of how he's feeling based on like stages of his life. I think that's pretty fair. I don't think it's too big of a step to say that like a game dealing with like disillusioned father figures that are like doing grisly murders like in a time where he's dealing with a lot of corporate BS, like I think there's at least something there that like I don't think it's a stretch to say like I can see the kinds of things that would lead a Kojima to be inspired or write about that kind of stuff without having to put my entire stake that like this is literally what it's about, and more just like, yeah, this is probably the most disillusioned Kojima is, at least in terms of like business and corporate culture. So
I guess I just don't see it as the thing, like especially with the way that development works and how many hands like the process of creation goes through to preserve such a personal meta narrative story in a way that represents like a personal thing that someone's going through within the industry. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, does Guillermo del Toro know that this was like Kojima venting about Konami? Like, is that a thing they ever talked about? Like,
and was that,
and the
was
answer is
that,
no.
like, was that confirmed? Like, is it for sure that Guillermo del Toro helped consult on it and Junji Ito helped consult on it? I'm pretty sure they both did at least some sort of like talks with the writers.
I believe that Guillermo del Toro was double billed as director for PT, and that Junji Ito was scheduled and might have done some work for Silent Hills that got canceled. I don't know how much Junji Ito is in PT, but I do believe a good chunk of del Toro's in PT.
Mm-hmm.
And none of us can really pinpoint the exactitude of it. But I also want to point out that there's commentary on economic recession going on in the game, which was a fairly dominant artistic influencer from 2008 to 2010.
Lisa had to pick up a job, and her manager was being gross to her, and that was one of the sparks that caused some spur of jealousy with one of the fathers.
So economic tension leading to people thrashing about is certainly not unique to that particular 3 to 4 month window where the tension between Kojima and Konami had finally reached a head and resulted in his forced departure.
And I think this is a game that was probably thought of more in a post 2008 world, so I think it's fair to like see the kinds of things that might have led to its writing without having to put like a stake down into like, yep, this is literally what it is.
Yeah, I still don't think it has anything to do with Kojima's departure, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's fun to engage with the controversy just because people were probably dealing with that separation anxiety. Like, Kojima's no longer working at Konami, and Metal Gear Solid 5 had like so many faults because of that. And in hindsight, we can also say like, oh, because of what happened with PT and how Silent Hills got canceled, that was all part of it. Yeah, I don't know.
Certainly a game about disillusioned, like, schlubby male dudes and being haunted and grisly deaths and all that. Like, it certainly helps the controversy. The art is affecting me and making me respond more strongly to the controversy. For sure.
Maybe that's what people are responding to. Is like, wow, this impacted me, made me feel something. It must mean like it must have a deep meaning. And unfortunately, sometimes like it's not that digging like for more context is a bad thing, but like I guess like you dig the wrong hole in a different spot and you find something that's not there, and it's like, I don't know.
That is how you can tell it is great art. If there is a real Rorschach blob of effect of people coming to different interpretations that can all be argued as significantly more valid than the other. But the other thing is that it's also following conventions in a way that interface with an audience in a way that everyone can kind of see a bit of themselves or what's currently going on in their world.
That's what it is.
It is certainly not the first game to be a first-person horror game where you cannot fight back against the monsters. It is not the first game to have infinitely looping hallways. Even like talking about how unique and very well executed it is, how artistically brilliant it is, will be triggering a lot of eye rolling and a lot of listeners who are very well aware that this stuff was a huge indie game phenomenon with you remember Slender Man game?
Yeah.
Amnesia: The Dark Descent really sent us down a road that PT just further intensified. And even before that, you had the Penumbra games by a similar studio, the same studio.
Hey, that is an excellent segue into our next topic. Is PT really the trailblazer we think it is? Did Resident Evil take anything from PT? Is PT the first game to do hallway loops?
No.
And what does it mean that we have more first-person Japanese horror games?
Good.
Means good.
Yes. Yeah, I would not certainly call PT a trailblazer. It's more like the high polishing of an existing idea.
They put up really nice signs on the trail, and you're like, ooh, it's fun to hike here now.
Because
I think you're right. Like, this is a game in the wake of Penumbra and the other game that came out from that studio around the same time that were both before Amnesia. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, this is really like the first wave of post-Amnesia games, I feel.
And it feels, I was just playing it about an hour ago, and it still feels remarkably more polished than games that have come out since. Believe it or not, Hideo Kojima did not invent stealth games. George Lucas and Steven Spielberg did not invent action-adventure movies for the whole family. What they did was manage to polish existing ideas and existing conventions and hone it in on a certain time and period and place and style that resonated with the audience at the time, and execute it with the level of excellence that has oftentimes not really been reached since. And Metal Gear Solid gives you the same impression. It feels decades ahead of its time. And I feel like PT inspired a glut of first-person horror games when PT itself was inspired. PT feels remarkably modern. This is an 11-year-old game that I was playing an hour ago, and the graphics still, like, it does weird you out with how photorealistic it looks.
It turns out when you put a game in a dark hallway and you can make the entire game about that, it can look pretty stinking good.
It has a certain degree of game feel to it that I don't think has been matched by its successors. The controller maps onto your footstep noises in a way that makes every single step that your character is taking feel concrete and pinpointable. There's a certain sort of lag to moving your viewpoint around, where you see the flashlight lag behind it that makes it really easy to aim at things with your analog stick in first person view on a console game with a certain sense of precision that I was not getting from the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake that just came out.
Well, and also like that makes me think like a lot of those like Slenderman style, like find the missing pages kind of horror games, those typically do not feel good, like at all.
You gotta find the missing pages in PT too, and it feels different. There's a lot of clutter in the game. The photorealistic graphics that can hide clutter into trash interface with that puzzle in a way that I think speaks to a greater degree of artistic direction. That's ultimately why PT is I think it is more than the sum of its parts. It really does hold up. There is a degree of excellence that that they were able to accomplish that a lot of other studios with smaller budgets cannot. And even to a certain extent, Resident Evil 7, I feel was inspired, but not maybe as heavily as some fans think. And even then, it doesn't quite look as polished or feel as polished in your hands as PT can.
So that's another thing I think is...
So the bringing up the clutter aspect of like finding the paper photo puzzle, it's kind of interesting to look back and see people consider that a negative. Like, how is anyone supposed to find ripped pieces of paper on top of other ripped pieces of paper? And I find it a little frustrating because it's like, I don't know, I feel like that's the cool thing about it, is that, well, number one, there's not really a lot of places where this would be hiding, but a pile of like torn pieces of paper is a perfect place to hide like your piece of the puzzle piece. And I don't know, it's like it you look back on this game and people still consider the puzzles to be like obtuse and like, how was anyone supposed to figure this out? And it's like, no, that's the cool thing about it. Like
I was mashing.
You mash. Number one, you just mash, you figure it out. But also like it's just a hallway. There's not a lot of places to look. Like
that is something that works really well with like a much higher fidelity hallway. Like you can have things be extremely high detail, and it's okay if it's a really small space. You don't have to like there's only so many things the player can even interact with, period. So like a lot of modern games like need to have signposts to tell you where to go.
Yeah, that's it.
It's not reasonable.
That's what I'm getting at. It's like it doesn't need to tell you. It is telling you. Like you just cannot, like if you're looking for an arrow to point at a thing that you're looking for, then yeah, you're gonna find it. but the game doesn't want to do that. It's not interested in doing that, and that's, to me, it's like a thing that modern horror games won't do. You know what I mean? Like, as much as they're inspired by PT.
I think that this is related to how PT really thrives and shines through its ambiguity. I was mashing buttons because I didn't know what all the buttons do, because it turns out not a lot of buttons on the controller do anything except for some parts.
Yeah.
Gouge the eye, press O for hello, R3 in the pause menu. I got a sense that there would be puzzle items hidden in the clutter, and so I just started panning the camera at the clutter and mashing buttons, not knowing what would happen. Sometimes things happened. I didn't know what I did, and that is what Resident Evil 7 does not have. Resident Evil 7 has consistent rules. It has a sense of you being able to clearly see the Fisher-Price gamer puzzles built into the... Yeah, no, I'm sorry. You'll never be able to unsee it. A lot of puzzles in video games look like Fisher-Price toys for babies.
Yes.
Not in PT, though.
It's the put the square peg in the square hole, like that kind of thing.
Press triangle.
Oh. Yeah, and so this is something that we discussed kind of off the episode, but a lot of people are under the assumption that since RE7 came out after PT, that it took a lot from PT, but in reality, like, the way games are developed, like, there's no way it could have really shaped anything in that game. So I guess this is just that both the games are inspired.
Maybe
more
lightweight.
Yeah. There could be minor things, but like the game had to exist by and large by the time PT was already out.
They were in development at the same time. I think I think RE7 fed off of PT, but the concepts were already there.
Yeah. They were able to see, like, oh, this does work, and maybe,
right,
have an example to point to. But I think, this has really been illuminating that, like, oh, it's all Amnesia. That's all this is just the indie horror. These are just polished indie horrors.
Better than Amnesia.
Yeah. Because I think it's really interesting, because, like, Japan typically does not do first-person games, except for maybe, like, older school dungeon crawlers.
Wait, really?
They don't do a lot of first-person games.
No,
it's all third person.
Yeah.
So yeah, why two back-to-back horror first-person games from Japanese major studios? That's the thing that really perplexes me, interests me.
Really? I mean, sure. Is it a matter of, like, the player culturally? Does the player need to see the character? Is there like a maybe being involved in the, like, if you're in first person and you're involved in too much of the grotesqueness of it, does it place too much onus on the player to make a choice?
This may be hearsay too, but I've heard that culturally more folks tend to experience motion sickness with certain video games.
Oh, well, I know I do. Yeah,
I'm gonna be making very broad stroke cultural assumptions that are gonna probably offend some people and maybe cause some other people to raise their fingers and, well, actually, to give me corrections I already know about. But this was a real thing that was absolutely positively noticeable if you were growing up through the PS2 and Xbox eras, that Western games were first person so much more often than Japanese games were. There are a lot of interesting theories about this that generally relate to Japanese society being remarkably, unquestionably, objectively, this is not an argument, more collective society than Western societies tend to be. Yeah. And that a lot of times when Japanese gamers are playing a game, they are kind of sort of signing themselves up for the game developer's challenge. Takashi's Castle turns into Takashi's challenge. Space Invaders is you trying to survive against someone else's difficulty. Versus Western games that are oftentimes thought of as a tool of personal individual expression. Sandbox game design tends to be... These cultural barriers have remarkably broken down in the past decade, which is why a lot of what I'm saying is probably not really applicable to gamers nowadays. Because, first-person games are coming out from Japanese studios more often, as are more open-ended sandboxy games, but even then you can still see some of this ancient cultural... artistic tuning towards you getting someone else, the developer's intended experience, versus you expressing yourself and the tool set the developer gave for you in something like Dark Souls, where you can make your own character, you can go through the game at your own pace, and nevertheless, though, you are still, like, very much signing up to get wrung through the game developer's series of bullshit to see how well you can handle things on the other side. And so Kojima, I also think, as Japanese as this guy is, he does have a big streak of Western sandbox, systems-driven sandbox game design in him sometimes, which might have made him less afraid of doing a first-person game than other Japanese developers might have been.
The first-person games that Japanese like gamers have historically loved are things like the first-person dungeon crawlers, like your Wizardries and stuff like that, which are more claustrophobic, slower paced, more detail oriented. So I think there is like a connective tissue there with like a lot of Japanese gaming history that was maybe like, see, like we've got some cool slow paced horror games. Let's do something like that. And like you have maybe a lot of bigwigs saying like, let's do a Wizardry, except it's spooky.
So when Western developers were doing their first-person horror trend before PT, the Amnesia Penumbra games were all about physics puzzles. You were supposed to play around with physics objects in a sandbox. The graphics looked kind of janky. They didn't really show characters a lot. The control might not have felt as tight. Oh, but when a Japanese developer with Kojima's budget does a first-person horror game, it's polished, it's sleek, it shines. And yeah, you can see the difference there. That Japanese level of overwork necessitated polish is visible in PT in a way that is not with its contemporaries.
Yeah. Thing Japan.
Thing but Japan. Wow. It is a polished time
killer.
I tried. Doc me another
polished
one,
thing.
Coach. Oh, there you go. Yeah,
it's a pretty thing.
The simplest answer is often
it's a playable thing.
It's a playable thing.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we take a quick break with a segment I call Game Ratings. I'll present a category like Pokemon Middle Evolutions, games with tank controls, video game dads, and we're going to come up with something underrated, overrated, and accurately rated. Today's topic is games that break the fourth wall.
Wow. We should redo our example list.
Yeah?
Because
we're never going to do video game dads, apparently. So it's fine.
Wait, this counts. There's a video game dad.
Yeah. And he killed everyone.
Oh, no! Oh, yeah. Well, he is
a bad dad.
Yeah, he is a parental terror, I guess.
Oh.
Hey, who wants to start?
I'll start.
Me.
I will pick.
Okay, fine, you start.
I will pick up the first napkin. That's a JoJo reference. Anyways, my underrated fourth wall breaking game is Inscription. Oh, how I love that game.
Oh, Inscription. I've been meaning to play that for a while.
Oh, this is how it works. Okay.
Yeah.
How it works is however you can define your argument, George. But anyways, yeah, Inscription, without getting into too many details, I've talked about it on the podcast before, but for anyone not in the know, it is a game in which you're trapped inside some sort of spooky escape room type of scenario, playing a card game with a twisted DM, solving mysteries about the house as you play. And there's some really cool stuff that the game does with like live action video, with ARGs. Like there was literally a thing the developer did where he like geocached something and put like real fake cards like in like
really?
like some hills in some
awesome.
Like in Appalachia or something, I forget where, but it's a game that's all about kind of breaking down the walls between like, wait, how much of this is real? Am I me playing this game with Leshy, or is like am I playing a character that's trapped in this game? And it's always a little ambiguous about that, of how direct, how literal are these things supposed to be. And I mostly bring it up because I do so love that game.
Neat.
Does anyone else have an underrated fourth wall breaking game?
Man, honestly, this is really hard. Does Hypnospace Outlaw count as a fourth wall breaking game?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because I really liked that one as my underrated pick. It's a shame it had its like 15 minutes of fame, and now I feel bad because the developer isn't really working on anything anymore, and I kind of want more stuff like Hypnospace, where at first glance, when I recommend it to people, it does kind of come off as like a Y2K simulator for like a internet browser, but it is so much more than that. It is honestly a test of morality. It is like a story about morality, about legality and morality, and like how those things don't always correlate. And I don't know, it's like that to me was like the hook. Like the very early on in the game, you are forced to enforce copyright laws on a certain caricature.
That's Gumshoe Gooper to you,
Gumshoe.
sir.
Yeah, well, yes. So you're supposed to enforce like copyright laws on Gumshoe Gooper illustrations and usage of the character. And the game pointedly asks you, okay, so you can take care of the obvious stuff where it's just people like using a PNG of the character and they're not allowed. Will you strike these artistic depictions of the character by children?
Yeah, a teacher uploading her children's drawings.
Yeah, like just the most innocent use of this character IP. Are you going to do that or not? And when I was faced with that decision, I'm like, oh shit, this is amazing. This is the best game now. I love this. And I didn't. I actually, you can get away with not striking the fan art, but you have to excel in every other point, which means you're still kind of a dick. But
yeah, and that game also has a bit of a like a jump near the end that kind of like makes you question the nature of like, how am I actually, like, am I literally interfacing with the Hypnospace, or like when it gets to like some of like the news articles that pop up that you can read.
Oh yeah. Not to spoil anything, but I love how the ending handled the concept of redemption and forgiveness for like a certain character. And it has to do with like the blurring the line between like corporate interest and artistic expression, and like how something that even is well-meaning at its core becomes like a destructive thing and damaging and harmful. It's a game about morality. It's interesting how it played that.
Are we saying it's underrated?
Yeah, I think Hypnospace is underrated. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Let's definitely shout about it, because I loved Hypnospace Outlaw. I think it's one of the most brilliant games I've ever played, but it's relatively unknown, and that's a huge shame.
I think it's also like the people that know it, like it's far smarter than it really lets on, and I think that's worth highlighting.
Yeah, it is a shame, because I have tried to get people into it, and the pitch for it is difficult, because like I don't want it to just be Y2K simulator. Like it's more than just that, but it is the pitch. It is like, oh, like if you ever had an AOL trial version, this is kind of like that, but as a game. And to someone who didn't have internet back then, it also is kind of like an introspect, or like a lens into what that culture was back then, of like forums and GeoCities and what was the other one? Just like these niche online
Yahoo
spaces.
Groups.
Yeah,
Yahoo Groups.
I was getting strong Yahoo Groups vibes.
Yeah, these are lost spaces now. Like we don't have this anymore, and I feel a bit bad that I missed out on that, because I didn't get internet till like the late 2000s. By then we had already moved on to forums, and yeah.
I can't believe you forced me to put Granny Cream's hot buttered ice cream in the commercial segment.
I didn't force you to do anything.
You did.
Kyle.
You absolutely
did. I didn't force anything. If you do that, it is of your own volition, and I will have a grin wide,
Granny
like
Cream's
ear to ear.
Buttered ice cream.
I think we did overrated and underrated. I'm going to do an accurately rated talk about Death Stranding.
Okay.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I had a non-Metal Gear Kojima game on my mind. I wonder why. Yeah, I feel like not a lot of people, but an appropriate amount of people have talked not very glowingly, nor very negatively, but an appropriate amount of how much fourth wall breaking is going on, specifically in the private rooms of Death Stranding. And how that's where you get your real-world product placement with your Monster Energy drink. but also you go through real world rituals while playing Death Stranding that are reflected right back in your face, almost like a mirror, while you're in these private rooms. I noticed I didn't get to talk about this in my video about the book reading list, and I really wish I did, because it plugs into the Homo Ludens stuff, where the game is trying to get you as the player to ask, why am I doing this in my free time? Shouldn't I like play with my children or something? And there's these thoughts get activated when you see Norman Reedus take a shower and take a shit and go to bed right around the time I noticed that I would want to turn the game off and end my session for the night and take a shower and take a shit and go to bed in real life. And then the next day, when I would keep playing through Death Stranding, I'd make Norman Reedus wake up in that room and guzzle down a bunch of energy drinks and then piss out the extra water weight and then take a shower and get ready to go to work. But me in real life was drinking some sugary energy drinks and taking a piss and getting ready to play a game and relax from work. There
also,
is
in that space also, like, Norman Reedus is kind of like your little BB in his little pod. You're taking care of him, and
the way you play with them is different. The way he plays with you is different. He taps on the glass of the camera. He'll point at the camera and like make finger guns.
Yeah.
When you click on the action figures in the background, he looks at the camera and then points at the action figures like he thinks they're so cool because he's a skilled actor. And yeah, the dynamics of player to character relations and how they interact with you in your own couch through the fourth wall are in a lot of really interesting places in Kojima games in general, but maybe not enough people are talking about the private room scenes in Death Stranding reflecting the player's own physiobiological existence back at them like a mirror. It's great.
That's great. Yeah, I will yes and your accurately rated game with my own and say that I really love Monkey Island 1 and 2 are great games that break the fourth wall. I think they're fairly beloved games. You know, I think they've stood the test of time. I think people kind of all still enjoy a lot of the fourth wall breaking humor in that. I still think the Ask Me About Loom button is funny. It was funny then, and it's funny now that no one is asking about Loom these days. The fact that game makes you get a red herring, a red salmon, in order to solve a puzzle that has nothing to do with it, is really, really funny. And so I think the humor still holds up remarkably well, and it's cool that a game that was doing that type of joke about, like, isn't it funny that this is a video game so early, is pretty remarkable. And I think that, like, people are still laughing at those jokes. I think it has stood the test of time, and it's not really dated itself. Or the ways that it has are, like, kind of charming. So I think everyone's kind of on the same page with that.
Agree.
I've never played the Monkey Island games, so
they're so funny.
I just don't have very complicated thoughts about them compared to Kojima games.
Maybe that's why I was right in calling them accurately rated, because we don't have to be that complicated about it. They're just nice little games.
That's pretty much where that category lands. It's like, yeah, they're good. Like,
yeah, they're pretty good. They're still funny. Jorge, you got any for us?
Oh man, I had a hard time picking adequately rated fourth wall breaking game because, I mean, I don't want to say Metal Gear Solid,
but you're not wrong. Like, everyone's,
it just might be Metal Gear Solid.
Everyone
because
loves Psycho Mantis turning your TV off.
Not even that.
It hasn't gotten old yet.
There's just like moments like when Snake looks at you and goes like, do it, like, and that was in Twin Snakes, but like I still really enjoyed that. When there's a line in the original Metal Gear Solid on PS1 where Liquid like accuses you of being a murderer, like, and that's
you
like,
enjoy the killing.
Yeah, like there's a smile on your face, and it's like, no, that's talking to the player, to you, like you're the one who's doing that, and I don't know, that still stuck with me. yeah, like the we all know the Psycho Mantis scene, like that's the one everyone remembers, and it was good, and it's cool that he mentions the memory card data in your save files.
Super Mario Sunshine.
Yeah, if you play the GameCube version, there's Nintendo TM games in there, and it's that is cool. Honestly, like playing PT or watching PT again because I can't fucking play it. Watching videos again, it's like this is just like an elevation of that Psycho Mantis scene with the controller. Like the fact that the controller is always listening to you while you're playing. Like the mic is active. It is an option in the game. That to me is like, that's cool. Like you're if you react vocally, the game acknowledges that. And yeah, for that reason, I bring up Solid 1. It feels like the adequate rated fourth wall breaking game.
When I first played PT, I was following a walkthrough that wanted me to play an audio clip of Kojima at the Tokyo Game Awards.
Oh my god.
Saying, "Did you like it?
Did you like it?"
And that was how you activated the Lisa Ghost baby laughing for the third time. It turns out, as fans have discovered over years since, that there's just the microphone is supposed to pick up noise of a certain pitch and tone that famous sound clip qualifies as. Mm-hmm. But I was actually sitting there with my smartphone playing a Kojima meme into the microphone of the Kojima game to get the Kojima game to acknowledge Kojima, so that I could get the grand reveal that I was actually playing a Kojima game all along at the end of the Kojima game.
Simply hold the button down and say "gotcha" into the mic, and it will capture Lisa.
The walkthrough I was reading more recently said that it works if you scream, or if you shout "help me," or if you shout "oh no," like horror stuff. But I'm telling you guys, back in 2014, the walkthroughs were telling you to get Kojima himself saying, "Did you like it?" into the microphone.
Oh my!
Yeah, usually when my wife is playing a video game and shouts "help me," the game somehow magically beats itself for her when she hands the controller off to me.
Oh. But I mean, that's something I love about PT, though. Like the fact that people didn't fucking know for years, that you can still look up a guide and it'll have incorrect information on it. Like you just can't data mine the game. You can't. I don't know.
The walkthrough I was seeing just now an hour ago had 3 different methods to complete it and warned you that not one of them might be reliable. That is not game design. That's not game design orthodoxy. That is the opposite of what Daniel Floyd was telling all the aspiring game developers in 2009 to do, which resulted in the orthodoxy we're living through right now that I find so disillusioning.
Shit, dude, I gotta listen to that now. I want to know who to blame.
I don't know if extra credit is to blame. I really honestly do think that there is a certain school of thought in computer in either software development courses or the game development universities. Like something was going on at Full Sail where they were insisting in a certain style of orthodoxy that accidentally resulted in everything kind of playing the same. But then again, that also intersects with the corporate incentives to not take risks.
Absolutely.
And it is
gamers that are only using other games as examples for how to do something versus other life experiences.
There's like hyper derivative artwork that comes from the result of consuming too much rather than like experiencing other things in life.
Yeah. Well, let me do an overrated one real quick.
I'm interested. What do you?
Yeah. I don't know if any of y'all have tried to play this in recent years, but I don't think Conker's Bad Fur Day holds up well at all. I think
Bad
those
Fur Day was fourth wall breaking. I never played it actually.
Yeah. It was fourth wall breaking humor.
Yeah.
I only remember the Great Mighty Pooh because that's the part my friend was like, "Look at this! It's my shit."
And see, everyone remembers that because it's just a funny singing poop guy. But most of the jokes in that game are are Gex level humor.
Gex.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't remember anything else about that game. It's probably
the other thing too is that this is peak rareware, and I don't see any the actual level design itself is just not anywhere near the level of quality.
To be honest, no one ever talks about that. The actual, when I hear people talk about Conker's Bad Fur Day, no one ever talks about the fucking game. They just talk about the gags and the crass humor.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned it, I just realized that. Like, holy shit. I've never heard anyone say, wow, it was awesome when you go to that stage and you do the thing.
No one talks about a single level in that game, and I think that is very, very illuminating.
Oh, wow. Actually,
I barely remember. Like, when I think of that, I can think of 4 very different screenshots of very different games being played. Maybe it had
it changed up the formula a whole lot, for little mini games.
But like, and then it's a shooter.
You think of Rareware at that era, and it's like Spiral Mountain still feels so good to just play around in, but not Conker.
Interesting. All right.
Well, if anyone else has an overrated,
mine. You know what mine is. It's fucking, and I'm sorry. I know there's people I know who love this game. I fucking hate it. It's Doki Doki Literature Club. I fucking hate this game.
I think it's fair to say though that like there are other games that do the same thing, that have done the exact same thing for years,
minus all the fucking shock for shock's sake shit. So yeah, go play that instead.
Yeah. There is a hentai game where like the main girl will fucking murder you if you do a new save run and chase after someone else.
Before DDLC, you mean?
Years before. And,
okay, yeah.
You can't even say that it ripped it off because the developer of DDLC doesn't fucking play.
That's the issue
novels.
I have. It's a very dishonest breakdown of the genre. It's a very like disingenuous, dishonest, and the whole like delete the file to like beat the game was like like that was so easy to figure out. Like there was nothing cryptic about it. Anyway, I don't want to like go on because like I have vented about this before.
Yeah,
I just
it is neat, but I think the things that it gets praised for are like very, very surface level if you dig a little bit into the genre.
And then it's like when all that is removed, what's left? The edgy shit, and it's just not good either. Well, you know, I'm being a little subjective about that, to be fair, but I do not see the appeal in like the macabre like cutesy anime mix juxtaposition. I just don't get it. And then this is all I'm gonna say. And I can move on. Do not, if you're interested in visual novels, do not let your friends tell you to play DDLC. Dude, like they are gaslighting you. Do not let them do that. Go play legit visual novels. They exist. There are other games that are far more representative of the genre in an honest and sincere way. Do not fuck with this. Damn. Sorry. Okay.
It's fair.
Well, it pisses me the fuck off.
This is a pissed. Damn it!
Take. It's a piss take. Yeah. That was easy, Kyle.
I don't have very complicated opinions about visual novels.
No, I mean, I get that it's not for everybody, but I think there's more to it than like the Hato-full boyfriends and the DDLCs. I think it's a misrepresented genre, especially in the West.
Yeah. It should your interaction with visual novels should not be primarily as parodies released during April 1st. I know,
yeah, and like that's okay. Let's make another April Fool's joke game. It's a visual novel. It's a dating sim. It's like, okay, come on, like
yeah. Well, why don't we get back to the episode?
Brain Lords, video games of the mind.
Play Silent Hill. You may never leave your room again for PlayStation from Konami.
Granny Cream's hot butter ice cream. We take the hot butter, mix it with the ice cream, freeze it up cool, you can see it on your screen. Put it in your microwave, make it real hot like a soup or a dip. We call it heat and sip. Very tasty and healthy too. Granny Cream's hot butter ice cream.
You slip and they whip. You grip and they rip. There's got to be a better way. Hi, I'm George, and you might know me from George Socks, and that's why I'm here today to tell you about George Socks, the revolutionary high-performance gaming socks made by gamers for gamers. George Socks were designed for the world's best esports team. Their durable nylonized coating provides a better grip and feel to keep you fragging for over 100 million clicks. Unlike other socks made with durable and economic materials, George Socks are on a special premium power-up sale of just $14. Order some today and heat your feet with George.
Brainlords, video games of the mind.
So let's move on to our next topic. Does PT have merit in a vacuum? Is its legacy more than Konami, Kojima, and friends, being a Silent Hill sequel, etc.?
Kojima and friends.
And I think we've kind of talked about this a little bit already, but like, I think the more PT is more interesting if you have less Silent Hill lore to compare it to.
Yeah, I think that we are still talking about it and talking so fondly about it is, and we're not talking about, let's say, the Resident Evil 7 5-minute room demo does kind of show that there is merit. It's a cult classic for a reason. Beyond the Konami Kojima reasons, there is a certain degree of artistic excellence to this that I think has an intersection between coherent, enthusiastic, passionate direction and a budget to do a lot with very, very small amounts of resources that is still unique and remarkable to itself. I think it has aged very well. I think it is very effective psychological horror, and that it is still very, very fun to talk about and worth remembering and worth replaying if you can.
Yeah, I'm still just amazed by just the level of terror that is like, I don't know how this thing works. And that is scary to me. I don't know if I'm going to get jumped if I go around this corner wrong. I don't know what I'm doing. And it doesn't lead to frustration. It's just thrilling. And you just don't see horror games like that.
I've been replaying the Resident Evil 1 1996 version, but technically 97 because it's the director's cut. And I feel like I'm just going through a library of extremely excellent horror video games following different design philosophies, because that's absolutely conventional and polished and orthodox to the mid-90s version of that word. And PT is not. It's weird. It's ambiguous. It's unreliable. You don't know if your button presses are going to work or not. But both of them really, really activate a certain kind of dopamine that I just do not get out of the vast, overwhelming 95% majority of all other games I played through my life. And that's a lot. I've done this. I was reviewing games every single week for over 10 years.
Damn,
and if
goodness,
PT,
I didn't know that actually.
If PT still feels like it's standing above the rest, I feel like that is
That's
merit of something. Yeah.
I think to me the particularly impressive thing about the horror in PT, because I jump scares don't do shit to me. In fact, I find them annoying. I think what I found extremely well done was the way the loop is meant to be more than just a way to pad out a game, but rather a way to like constantly, like through repetition, create like a meditative state and then disrupt that meditative state every time something new happens.
That's the direction, the tight artistic Kojima direction.
And that to me is what gets because like you see the creepy baby on the sink and like, yeah, it's scary. But I remember the first time I saw it, I just started giggling because I'm like, ooh, what the fuck is going on? The part that got to me is like you open the door and suddenly the room is red. And after I've been going through like this loop over and over, suddenly the color's different. I'm like, oh shit, what's going on now? Like, it's just the tiny little things like that. When the clock strikes midnight and like you hear like I forget what if it's the phone ringing or a bell.
It's also a radio sometimes.
Yeah,
it's different. It's different every time.
It triggers something when the clock strikes midnight. That got to me. I was like, what the fuck? It's just things like that that the monotony is used to prime you into like a state of mind. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, we condition you to feel a certain way. Now let's fuck with you. And that's the brilliance of it.
You guys into David Lynch movies?
Oh yeah.
You know how he likes doing his hypnosis routines on you?
How so?
yeah, I know what you're
In Twin Peaks Season 3, Episode 2, Dr. Jacoby's spray painting shovels golden, and it takes like 5-6 minutes of just these repetitive, soothing sounds, and they force your brain. David Lynch is into hypnotic what's it called? Transcendental meditation. He's into hypnosis, he's into meditation.
Transcendental to meditation.
If you watch these things with an open mind, you'll realize just how they are kind of cheap tricks. A lot of it happens in Firewalk with Me too. If you're watching a David Lynch movie and you hear a sound get repeated over and over and over and over again, and it kind of makes you sleepy, you're not bored. You're watching it correctly if you're really sleepy and feeling like you're getting hypnotic. And it makes you ultimately more susceptible to the kinds of moods and thoughts that the artist wants you to go through. I'm pretty sure Hideo Kojima became a David Lynch fan. I don't know if he's always been one, but more importantly, Hideo Kojima knows the tricks. He knows the visual audio storytelling tricks that David Lynch also employs. And you talking about how going through the loop over and over again and as a hypnotic trance and how important that is to setting the mood in your own brain for going from laughing at the unconvincing horror to genuinely feeling the horror. That's the sign. That is the sign that this is damn good art by someone who knows what they're doing. And that really does make the big difference. And it's heartbreaking he never got to do a real full horror game, but he will soon. OD's coming out. That's the PT follow-up.
I think also the fact that we have such a difficult time like accurately attributing like the stuff that Kojima did or did not do, or like even if the other people did even contribute to this game, shows that like this is a collaboration of multiple artists, but it exists more than just like as a product of something that they created. Like, it's the most interesting thing about the game has nothing to do with Kojima, has nothing to do with Konami. It's just a weird, mysterious game.
It was wrapped in mystery. Yeah, it was in every aspect, like George was saying, even in the controls, a lot of things were there to be not just to be figured out, but to get you into a state of like, I don't know what's going on, I don't know what I'm doing, a confusion, an intentional confusion.
And after a certain threshold of time, your mood is his putty. Your brain turns into Play-Doh.
Yeah.
And Kojima knows how to do it better than most anyone else in the business.
And then suddenly, like it's the subtle things like
conditioning, hypnosis.
When you're looking at the photo and it says
meditation,
gouge it out, and like you press a button and a hole appeared in the photo. That fucked with me. I was like, whoa, like, ooh, that's creepy. What's going on? Because I didn't know this was going to happen. It breaks the monotony.
You guys ever play Pathologic?
Yeah.
No,
There's
but
a certain halfway through Pathologic, you press the map button and something disgusting appears on the screen and it hits you like a brick.
I love that stuff.
That's also another game that's always breaking the fourth wall, because characters are simultaneously talking to you as though like they know they're in a play, acting at each other and turning to you and going like, just so you know, like you can satiate your hunger by eating stuff, and your characters are like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I'll have to try it out.
Yeah, it is a game about the theater of playing games.
I'm also interested in, speaking of David Lynch, I'm also interested in watching Eraserhead after going back to PT, only because people have compared like the baby to a scene in Eraserhead.
The baby, that's absolutely a Kojima as a hack fraud, lazy plagiarist who just casually ripped off the baby from Eraserhead. What a misanthropic ne'er-do-well.
It's very funny the effect that these works in these movies have on you, because I have a coworker that's like making a sculpt of the Eraserhead baby and is like, see, isn't it cute? It's wonderful. And my boss is like, this is disgusting. I don't like looking at it at all. And they're like, but it's cute. Come on.
But yeah, now I want to watch the movie just to, I don't know, just to have a little more connection to.
Well, it is a damn good.
It's a damn fine cup of movie.
I've never seen, like I say, I'm a David Lynch fan. I haven't seen like most of his movies.
I need to sit down and.
That's really.
I feel like Aliens is like the most influential video game or movie for video games, and Mulholland Drive is probably like the second most.
It is unfortunate because Twin Peaks, the TV show, he doesn't really get into the dark hypnosis mode that he does in his full-length movies. And in the Fire Walk With Me movie, he absolutely does, and it's terrifying.
I mean, all the stuff in the Red
season
Room.
3, the Twin Peaks: The Return, which was mostly him, has a lot of that too. And it's something I didn't appreciate it until rewatch. Like,
if you're like half asleep, you're watching it correctly.
Well, why don't we move on to our final topic? Is PT still alive in other Kojima games? Did Death Stranding evolve on any of the concepts and partnerships from PT? And what do we think of the new game, OD?
I think it's so damn exciting. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I try not to think much about games that are not out yet, to be honest.
I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah.
I think more what I'm trying to carry into the sentiment is that, like, a lot of people, especially in video games, get this sort of like, oh, I missed out. Oh, this frustration that, like, well, this game got canceled, so that means I will never get this experience. I'll never get
something
to feel
I wanted
out.
to talk about regarding this.
But
I need to ask you all. I don't. Sorry, Kyle. I don't know if you have more to say.
Yeah, well, just real quick, that it's like any idea that's worth saving. This doesn't even apply to video games. Just anything, any idea that's worth carrying over, like, will get translated in some way somehow. Like, they will find room for it, and like a lot of the cool, like, ambiguous stuff, like gets you do that in Death Stranding. A lot of the all the cool aspects of PT, I think, carry over to that. And it doesn't even have to be like a quote unquote PT like game. I think all the cool stuff that was going to be in PT is probably going to be in OD. I don't think it's getting into the video game hype to think that, like, I think the cool stuff that has yet to be made by Kojima, like, you're going to see it in some way, shape, or another.
I mean, the trailer was promising enough.
Yeah, just how ambiguous it was of, like, everything's redacted. You don't know what's gameplay and what's not, what's safe and what's not.
Good goddamn. Like, every time I watch a trailer for a new Kojima game, I'm like, I like that I don't know. I like that it's just like hinting at things. Like, it doesn't even have to show me gameplay trailers. I just want to be, like, intrigued by this.
It was one of the best trailers I've seen in a while, if only for the fact that it didn't feel like I was watching something that would get shown at, like, a Summer Games Fest, but more like a concept of, this is the vibe going into the game. I see what you're saying.
When it is smack in the middle of that, I forget which presentation it got revealed in, if it was Summer Games Fest or... God, what was it? I don't know.
It was a Game Awards.
When it's smack in the middle of like video game showcase, and you're just like sick of everything else, that shows up, and you're like, oh goodness, oh my God, it's different. I'm breathing again. I get what you're saying in that respect. But it's it is a Kojima trailer.
It is. I just liked how much I went in not like having more questions than I did, and feeling okay, this seems spooky.
But yeah, I was gonna ask, like, would the effect of PT have been as great if it wasn't deleted from, like, the PlayStation servers, if Konami didn't, like, erase it from existence?
I think it certainly helps add to the ambiguity, like the fact that we still don't know so much.
So
yeah, it has a mystique.
I had a thought today. I'm like, would PT, even if none of the shenanigans between Kojima and Konami happened, would PT have been deleted anyway? Because that feels like, really? Because I don't know. I started thinking, like, a lot of the urban legend aspect of PT was enhanced by the fact that it no longer is available to people.
Yes.
So, like, it made me question, like, was that always the plan? Was there ever going to be? You don't think so?
It was not the plan for Silent Hills to get canceled and thus prompt the removal of PT. PT got removed because Silent Hills got canceled. It was not part of PT's intended purpose in the world to go away with Silent Hills. If Silent Hills did get completed and released, I bet PT would still be downloadable.
Would still be around? All right.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because this was of the era where Konami is like, I'm sorry, video games cost how much, and we could be making slot machines instead? Get this the fuck out of my face.
Exactly, which does...
Finish the game. I don't care how unfinished MGS 5 is. Put it out there. We're going to gacha games.
What gets me about that is just how much the fact that it's no longer around is part of the PT story now.
Yes, it is. I think it enhances it. I think it adds a mystique appeal, and I think that because that was not the intention.
Okay.
It was a surprise behind the scenes. It was a surprise that this got canceled. I can say with insider's confidence.
All right.
Also, do you guys remember an incredibly fleeting video scene from a demo of Metal Gear Solid 5's online multiplayer mode where you could summon the ghost of Lisa to spook other players? Yeah.
No, I don't remember this.
This was a canceled feature of Metal Gear Solid 5's online mode.
They call her Lisa specifically there too.
They took a deployable Lisa distraction ghost item out of a Metal Gear Solid game after Silent Hills got canceled, or rather did not ship it. Either one of the two. I don't know the exact details. I just do know that this was something in a demo that is not... There used to be a feature here. It's gone now.
Well, you get a grenade in Death Stranding 2 that lets you make fake BTs to spook people with, so
it lives on.
It lives on.
Yeah, I think PT marks a certain line in the Kojima timeline where you can tell he is tired of Metal Gear and wants to do other things, because it is excellent. It is an excellent first-person horror game, and I think that also it is an excellent first-person non-combat horror adventure game, and I think that also shows that it marks a timeline where Kojima starts making games that seem more like weird indie games than AAA conventional orthodox games, and that is what Death Stranding is, and what is so unique and wonderful about Death Stranding is it's a weird indie game with the conventionality, or not the aesthetics. It can fool you into thinking it's a conventional orthodox AAA action game, and it has the ethos, the sensibilities of a weird indie game. Same deal with PT. PT is a first-person indie horror game it's remarkably narrow in its scope, but you could not get that level of photorealistic graphics from a cheaper studio, and I also don't think you could get as interesting a sense of ambiguity interfacing with the player's expectations and what sorts of moods and thoughts and experiences that they are, that psychological level. I don't think you could have gotten that without Kojima.
Yeah. If anything, I think the thing that OD has like a real chip on its shoulder to do, like I do not envy the fact that this is coming out in the post-guides economy internet. I don't envy the fact that this is a game that will be released on major platforms, that is something that like a massive amount of people will be able to brute force and solve, and will kind of be a quantifiable object.
But I mean, PT kind of happened in a similar time. Like, people were playing the shit out of it. They figured it out in the first day it came out. Like, they just didn't know how exactly, but
it's beautiful to watch.
Yeah. I just think this new game is he's going to have a hard time having the same mystique, but I'm cautiously optimistic all the same.
I mean, they have to do things like in PT, something I loved was the hints in different languages thing, and how that was again intentional, meant to be solved by people from around the world. You'd be watching someone stream and like one of the 40 viewers might know Portuguese and thus help you, if not solve the puzzle, then at least learn something new about the story. I think that's the kind of thing I want to see more explored, like the community effort of different peoples getting together to like solve a problem. I find that to be very nice. And,
that's something too that in a lot of my favorite elevated horrors, when you can have sort of things in plain sight that are just like, oh, you wouldn't get that unless you knew this folklore, you knew this language or something like that. And then when you're sort of revisiting it, it's like, oh, that's even scarier because there's like, oh, it's all there from the beginning. It's so cool.
That's a thing that I think lived on in Death Stranding, like the community effort aspect of PT.
Yeah.
And something I loved about Death Stranding actually was how this game is meant to be played by many people. And you're supposed to experience things. Like Death Stranding does kind of give you more of the isolation. And so the fact that you just need an internet connection to interact with other folks. But like PT had that more urban legend aspect of like the more you speak to other people who played the game, the more you learn about it. And especially if you speak to people from other parts of the world, like that's, you know what, something I really want.
Let me get a little waxing philosophic with you, because my previous topic was like, does PT exist? Like, does it have merit in a vacuum? And I think the thing that has been carried on since PT is that games exist in a social space. They do not exist in a vacuum. We are talking about them collectively. So even though it's like a very insular art, like that's not how we experience it. And that's really, really cool.
That they kept that in mind, yeah. Even though they expected that, they didn't think it would be like cracked so quickly. At least they did put thought into the fact that like it's gonna be a group effort, and it has to be in order to work.
This was Kojima's big shtick around about that time. Both Death Stranding and PT are about massive collective audience participation instead of an individual audience participation. He's always going to want to make some kind of story that would make more sense as a video game than any other medium, and for this particular time period, that was his ballpark, was massive audience participation as opposed to just one out of the player. From the perspective of a Kojima fan who's super specialized in Kojima stuff, there's a surprisingly smooth, thorough line going from PT to Death Stranding. There's an interest in Norman Reedus, there's an interest in babies crying, babies laughing, babies being weird and just kind of looking weird.
They're a pretty spooky thing, a baby. They're scary.
And then there's the ambiguity. Death Stranding also has a lot of ambiguity with its systems. It seems like the way that Norman Reedus stumbles and tumbles across the environment is always changing and hard to really pin down and predict in a ludologically predictive way, like most other games are. Both are unorthodox.
The thing I find the most amazing too is that a lot of these things don't feel frustrating, even though there's a lot of ambiguity. Whereas I think in a lot of games, if you don't understand how something works and you're getting different results every time, it feels awful. But in these, it's like, it's mysterious. It's cool. I don't know.
Definitely not with PT. The small scale and scope of PT works remarkably in its favor. Death Stranding did frustrate a lot of players, and I think that might be because they were expected to put up with ambiguity for tens upon tens of hours instead of an hour or two. And so, that's another weird thing. PT is like almost more of a mainstream crowd pleaser. Like, it's less divisive and controversial than Death Stranding.
Yeah. Even though you're arguably doing less, like you're just walking in loops.
Like if
you don't even stumble in that game.
The people who don't seriously get into Kojima games love to say that he just makes movies, right? But between the two, PT is probably the less interactive compared to Death Stranding.
It is just a simulator for walking.
Both games are also really interested in getting weird with the concept of photorealism in game graphics.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. There's a point where you get a Polaroid camera in Death Stranding 2, and the filters they are able to put on these models are like almost completely past the uncanny valley. It is weird. It's the same time when you get like video games that are like fake body cam footage and like how jarring and real it looks. It's kind of like that.
It's a monkey's paw. The more realistic video game... It feels like video games did achieve photorealism almost 10 years ago, and it turned out to not be that big a deal. And Kojima seems to like be aware of this to a certain extent. Like if we're going to do photorealism, let's get weird about it instead of real about it. Maybe because he actually knows how to do art instead of technology.
Make a weird baby that gives you a thumbs up.
Babies look weird enough as it is.
That's in a bag and goes, Dad's gonna get real mad about this.
I even get that sometimes when playing the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, from the legacy camera angles, the from a top-down perspective with the camera far away from your characters, there is a big degree of uncanny valley that is accomplished there, and it looks for every few frames out of the hours of the experience like the playable movie he was visioning in 2004.
Well,
It's weird.
Why don't we wrap things up with our closing thoughts, where we take a moment to summarize what we've discussed and what we want to take away from this topic. So, gentlemen, I guess what do you feel having discussed PT?
I wish I could play it.
You can. There's ways. They're just complicated. Or you can play the Unreal on your computer.
Can I just look up PT Unreal and be like, yeah, there it is?
I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I will do that.
And it's good. I'm surprised that it still holds up. I did not know if it would hold up when I played it on my original hardware a couple hours ago, and I was very impressed that it holds up for, I can't believe this though, a retro video game. It is now 11 years old.
It is over 10 years old now. Jeez.
And this is kind of a problem. Is the stagnation, the orthodoxy. I was calling it orthodoxy earlier, but yeah, PT is 10 years old and it still feels weird and fresh, and I think that speaks to a problem that's not Kojima's problem, but one about the industry as a whole, which is a real creative bankruptcy for the past decade.
That's honestly I think something I would love to talk about. Of course not now, but like, yeah, there's it kind of brings into concern, like, why are we treating games like this as disposable products? You know what I mean? Like, when they can teach like people, not just people to make better games, but also like the consumer can at least like engage with something that is different and new, and even if it like is old, that doesn't mean that it's like done and it's not good. And I don't want to like wax poetic about game preservation, because that's a tired topic. I just mean in terms of the consumer, like, why, like how do we get the consumer to engage with things that aren't conventional and aren't orthodox? Does it have to have that urban myth flair for people to be like interested in it? I want to be a part of that, because I feel like that is what gets people into video games. They want to be a part of like a community or like a group of people that are already playing. And yeah, it just is a shame that PT cannot be that anymore, because it was like a moment in time.
I think it's got to do with the controllers. Controllers haven't changed enough to warrant greater changes. A lot of changes in gameplay are downstream of controllers.
I think my biggest takeaway, honestly, is that like, it is less original than I gave it credit for. It is taking more, it's yes-anding a lot more from previous games. But I think the fact that it is kind of breaking this orthodoxy is really incredible. And I think, having discussed this, I think I'm able to appreciate that, like, yeah, I don't care about the Konami stuff or the Kojima stuff anymore. It's just cool that it's like, it's just a funky little video game that's like still open-ended in a way that feels fun, and not in a way that I want to solve. That just feels like, ooh.
And Georgia brought this up earlier, and it's something I didn't think about till he said it. Not a lot of people think of PT, like the people outside of like the Kojima sphere, who usually bring up Kojima to like make fun of him. Not a lot of people think of PT in that kind of derisive way. They think of it as like, oh, that was a cool thing that happened.
The game that never was.
Yeah, it never gets that like that weird like surface level criticism of Kojima games that it's now cool to meme about.
Even though, you're right, it's less interactive, it's more of a movie, it's more confusing than all these other games.
It might be the most Kojima game.
Yeah.
We questioned this, and it still boggles my mind that so many fans think everything that went wrong between Kojima and Konami was all an elaborate scheme all along.
Yeah.
I mean, those people have not had to make things with other people with email chains involved. Because let me tell you, it's
what I'm trying to make. All of this speculation always comes from people who like think they have an inside not experience, but like an inside knowledge of like how the industry works, but they have like zero experience on how any of that works. And it's frustrating to just like hear people talk about and be so sure of themselves on a topic that like nobody fucking knows.
Mm-hmm. I will talk to other industry like experts in special effects, and they'll tell me how they think I should paint something, and I'll be like, what the fuck are you talking about with these materials? You're insane. And those are people that know exactly what I'm doing. Yeah, so to have the disconnect.
I know people in the animation industry who'll be like, "Oh, the reason this movie sucks is because like all that the director sabotaged it." I'm like, "What are you fucking talking about? Like, you've worked in this, you know how this works." It's not okay. Anyway,
If it makes us feel any better, the current state of the /r never be game over subreddit is absolutely pathetic, and it does look like they gave it up a while ago.
Anyone with anything meaningful
I didn't
to
even
do,
know this was a subreddit.
They're probably sleeping in a big bed with their beautiful wives.
So Jorge,
I need a quick explain.
In Metal Gear Solid 5, there's a character named Eli who looks like a young Liquid Snake as a boy.
I remember him, yeah.
He has a jacket, and on the back it says, "Never be game over." And fans of Metal Gear Solid 5 interpreted this as proof that Metal Gear Solid 5 was incomplete. Now, there might be some merit to that argument, some crumbs of truth, because Metal Gear Solid 5 released the director's cut showing some behind-the-scenes cut material of a episode 51 that, if I am getting the number right, that I would argue, from my opinion, does not actually change the story and the experience that much. However, fans did interpret this as being proof that the entire game on many, 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 many levels was incomplete. And that is where we're going to have to agree to disagree. Because I am of the opinion that if it's called The Phantom Pain and involves a story about revenge not really feeling as cool as you think it might, and also subverting action movie hero tropes about what the action hero is supposed to do after killing the bad guy, and how much of it is an introspective wandering sequence that is also heavily related to Moby Dick, a book these gamers clearly did not read, it makes a lot of sense. It is not nearly as big a mystery as they think it is. And there were theories getting tossed around back in 2015, 2014, 10, 11 years ago, back, because it's a retro game now, both of them are, that did think that there was like some kind of mutual commentary about Metal Gear Solid 5 being incomplete, with PT being about an alcoholic father killing his family. I hate to hog the microphone, but I realized halfway through, like maybe the past 10 minutes with my notes on my page, that PT is wonderfully Twin Peaks David Lynch-esque in the sense that it sets you up for a spooky supernatural ghost story mystery that is really probably about a real-life mundane tragedy that happens 100 times a day, where an abusive alcoholic asshole father kills his family and wants to assuage his guilt by saying, "Oh, actually, I was possessed by demons," when really he's just a fucking loser who was addicted to the booze. There's bottles all over the trash in this house, and the writing on the wall says, "I'm sorry, Lisa, there's a demon inside of me." Twin Peaks, I don't know what the rating on this podcast is, but we all know the plot twist about who the real demon is and what the real reason behind the murder is. There's kind of a red herring that dissuades you. I remember watching Fire Walk with Me, and the impression I got at the end of that movie was, wow, demons really are just a fake social construction designed to make the awfulness of reality easier to swallow in some contexts.
Human beings like to have big, complicated answers for big, complicated feeling problems.
And listen to that. There's still something to learn from PT, to glean from it. Like, it's still excellent storytelling, even if the story it's telling is remarkably small in scale and got cut short that's remarkably early. What's
so poignant about it too?
Yeah.
Like, my favorite thing about PT is, like, it's still such a mysterious game. Like, just the other day, I found out that, like, depending on the section of the hallway you, like, double back from, if you go into the bathroom, it will actually take you into the question zone.
What? Welcome to the question zone. Get ready.
Yes, we've solicited a number of questions. You can contact us at brainlordspod@gmail.com.
Dun, 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 dun. Question zone.
Our first inquiry is from Eddie's photoshopped eyebrows, who asks,
I know who this is.
George actually just showed me your work, and thank you. That was a delight. I love that. I really do. They ask, while many horror games, especially Silent Hill, delve into thematically dark and taboo subjects, how obvious should these subjects be? Should they be more abstract and left up to interpretation? Do you think abstraction as a whole can be too much and leave the viewer wondering what the fuck they just played?
What fortunate timing. I think they should be ambiguous enough to get you thinking for a day, and then it might hit you a day later.
Yeah, well, I think you really hit it just a moment ago, George, when you said that the plot of PT is remarkably simple, but the ambiguity on the stuff surrounding it of like, who are you? When did this all happen? Is this all real? Like, that's all really juicy stuff that feels like really exciting. But at the end of the day, it is just like a sad family tragedy that may have darker undertones. But the story doesn't stop working, whether or not it's magical realism or a sad reality.
And I feel like I find utility in like the poetry of keeping things vague, because what the reason, and visual narrative is rich with this, the reason sometimes you just don't spell it out is because you want to speak something that is deep within you, that only that you can only understand subconsciously. If it is spelled out for you, it is not. It is only telling you insofar as like what you understand on a literary sense, like words. This is the reason we have visual narratives, is because symbolism, iconography are all contextual languages that existed for years to talk about things that we cannot express in words. So I am a firm believer of we should keep some stories vague. It works. It works for a reason.
Last year, my wife and I, we watched Halloween. She had never seen it. I hadn't seen it for a long time. And the thing I love about that movie, the original one, so much is that, do you know who Michael Myers is? Like, they kind of tell you, like, there's some ambiguity there. You're not really sure. Is he like a magical monster that can hunt you down from like across space and time or whatever? Who cares? But like the real thing in that movie, the scary thing is that when you go to ask for help in your safe suburban neighborhood, the people who should be close to you are not there to help you. And so the stuff that is unambiguous is very, very scary. And the stuff that is ambiguous is all kind of in support to that.
I don't know if you've ever seen Rosemary's Baby. If you've ever, like, I will tell you a personal experience of mine. The first time I watched that movie, I did not fucking get it. The second time I watched that movie, I was like, I spoke to a friend of mine about it, and he's like, well, it's the fear of being a woman and not being listened to. And then I was like, oh shit, the whole time it's this lady being like, something's wrong with me, and everyone's going, no, you're fine. And then at the very end, something is wrong. And I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense. But if the movie was constantly saying, oh god, I'm a woman and no one listens to me, it would be a shitty fucking movie.
I have never seen my old roommate more upset than when he watched the Vitch movie, thinking it was going to be like a spooky folk horror movie that was really, and not like one of the biggest slow burns in horror.
Yeah, that's another one that's like, you have to meet it in the middle, where it kind of is about how, I mean, I love the Vitch because, am I calling it the Vitch?
The Vitch.
That's just the way they spell it. But it is about how, like, bro, and Robert Eggers movies tend to be a lot more simple than people try. Like, this is a completely different subject, I'm sorry, but like, I find a little frustrating that people think Robert Eggers movies are like extremely deep and complex, when really it's like, no, people colonialized America, the United States, and they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. That's what the movie's about. It's like, this family cannot grow crops in this land because it's a foreign fucking land, and they didn't know how to fucking till it and raise like corn and shit. And it's just like, that's the movie. It was shitty to live in those times. And there is like a subtext of like, this is what drove people crazy, and this is why people thought witches were real. Like, there is a lunacy that came with that just like complete isolation of a land that you're just not familiar with, you just don't know. So sorry, I went in a complete tangent there, but yeah, there's a tough subtext to it. It doesn't have to be spelled out for you. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I have shouted about this author before, and I'll shout about him again. If you guys, if anyone listening is interested in, for some reason, if you guys want to never make money again and get into professional criticism,
all right.
I highly recommend reading an author named Northrop Frye, particularly a lecture series called The Educated Imagination, where he will probably leave you extremely convinced that art is insanity, that metaphors are insanity, and that people invent things like demons and witches to explain very mundane, simple objects, and that modern pop culture storytelling is a natural progression of a certain amount of ancient insanity that was required to interface with real problems that evolved from storytelling to mythology to religion to pop culture. And so when you say that the witch is just a metaphor for grueling colonial conditions, you were right on the money. And that the ghost of Lisa haunting the player is a metaphor for like some kind of that Rosemary's Baby is a metaphor. Rosemary being pregnant with the demon baby is demons aren't real. They're metaphors for other very important problems in life, which is domestic abuse. And that's the story that we're going through with PT here. I think it's the mark of a good storyteller if they're kind of aware that the story they're really telling is digging at some more fundamental, simple truths than all the elaborate storytelling tricks they're employing to make it hit you that way. I talked about it a bit in the Jutaro video where I use Northrop Frye's definition of truth in the context of art criticism, and that is when you in the audience notice that there is something that you are remembering about your own life in the artwork. And if it's horror, it's terrifying.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to a slightly less beautiful question. Morbius fan 69 asks, wouldn't it be funny if Silent Hills came out and it was actually just not a good game? Hashtag Morbius sweep.
That would do a huge... That is what it would take for PT to no longer have Mystique appeal. We are in a better timeline than that one.
You know what?
Arguably, yeah.
Because we get our cake and eat it too. We get other games that are inspired by PT.
We got Death Stranding.
We got Death Stranding. We got Spiritual Successor with OD, which will probably do all the cool things that weren't in PT
and weren't gonna be PT. In Silent Hills.
Yeah.
We still get PT. We still get PT.
So I think we got the best case scenario in this version of the timeline.
Best case scenario.
For the worst timeline possible.
Right, like best case scenario despite what has happened.
The best of the worst here.
Lemonade has been made.
Fascism exists in the United States. Also, PT is still cool.
Oh man, there's gonna be some good horror when we're through with this. When people can take a break and make art again, we're gonna have some good ass horror.
Yeah, right. Next question. From The Wine Ghosts. Does anyone actually know how to reach the ending of PT? I've tried multiple times and I can never pass the final puzzle.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head, but you gouge the eyes, you owe the hello. You have to get a baby to laugh 3 times. One of them involves you standing, freezing in place while Lisa is haunting you and making you scared. And the chances of you surviving that encounter increase if you get all the picture pieces to complete the picture puzzle. Now, what I'm talking about is this balance between ambiguity and mechanical ludo predictiveness. There's got to be better vocabulary. It's the PT is brilliant because it strikes a harmony between being mechanically ambiguous and mechanically predictable. I've done it 3 times. I was not able to do it an hour ago before the podcast, but back in 2014-15, I did play through it 3 times in front of 3 different people, and I probably had to use 3 different methods, but I was reliably able to finish it.
Yeah, I think that's cool that like it still can be as affecting of a game as it is, and people are like, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I like that about it, honestly. Like the fact that people still aren't actually sure how you can finish it. Like, I don't know. To me, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, our final question is from, and I'm not sure how to pronounce this, but Rata Guerra. Does the U have 2 little dots on top of it?
You gotta roll your R's too.
Guerra. As a native Georgian, what are your favorite hiking spots? Also, what do you think PT would have looked like as a full game?
Holy shit! I haven't been out hiking in a while. Let me look this up real quick.
Yeah, because this is the rare time of year where outside is super, super tolerable and very lovely.
Looks pretty. Yeah.
Oh yeah, everything's like green and orange and yellow.
There's
beautiful
pretty trees everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
There's a neat bike trail on the Arabia Mountain bike trail. I don't know why they call it Arabia Mountain. Yeah,
I don't know
some
either,
mountain
but
in
that
Georgia.
is a good hiking spot, actually. Arabia Mountain.
Yeah, I've been to that one. When I was a kid, I did Bald Top Mountain, but that's like hours away from Atlanta. But I remember I have fond memories of that one.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff, nice stuff in Kennesaw too.
Oh, we also shouldn't forget that Georgia has a tiny itty bitty coast. Yeah, if you go down to Savannah to Tybee Island, I recommend this. If you are in Savannah, there's this trail between Savannah and the beach, which is called Tybee Island, that has you walking on these beautiful white gravel rocks through some seawater marsh. It's flat. There was like a little line of crabs having a party that I had to tiptoe around. I think I saw some baby turtles. Yeah, Tybee Island has good hiking.
Yeah. And then the follow-up, what do you think PT would have looked like as a full game? I mean, I think we're kind of getting it.
We might be, but PT also, I feel, has a lot to gain from being so small.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, what would a full version of this be? Would it be a couple of like zones? That is an interesting conundrum.
I don't know if you could do the repeat loop over and over.
They also did not ask what Silent Hills would look like. They asked what PT would look like. And that's back in 2014-15, when I was closing my eyes and imagining Silent Hills, I was picturing a third person explore an abandoned apartment building game. There were brick buildings with exteriors at the end of the playable teaser. I was picturing something with a pretty different vibe than PT.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if anything, I think it works better like being this one area, because it has one idea that it does excruciatingly well.
Yeah. So I found a good hiking trail that I went to once. It is the Paper Mill Ruins on Soap Creek, I think it's called. It's a bit north, I think.
We're up Soap Creek like without a paddle.
And and if you want to look at the ruins of an old paper mill, take this trail. We went this way. We did some community work once and cleaned up the trail with a bunch of friends. It was pretty good. I recommend it. It's nice. It's short too. Nice. You can do like a long and a short version of it, and it'll show you the paper mill ruins either way.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. Well, why don't we end with a trip to the rec room, where we recommend something inside and outside the world of gaming. Would anyone like to recommend some things?
Oh Lord,
this is hard because like I just haven't had. Like I keep saying this every episode. I'm sorry, Kyle, but I just haven't had
It's fine. It can be a nice soup you had.
It should be. You know what? Honestly, since we were talking about David Lynch earlier, I really am due for the return. This is my non-game recommendation. I'm really due for a rewatch of season 3, The Return. It is like, I want to say 10 hours of David Lynch.
Yeah, I have not seen The Return, so
when I watched it on TV, it was frustrating to wait a week between episodes. It is a lot better to watch once you have all the episodes at your disposal. And if you kind of stop, the problem with season 3 is that a lot of people went in expecting like Twin Peaks, but they got more David Lynch instead.
Yeah.
And once you understand that's what it is, you'll enjoy it a lot more. There is still the good Twin Peaks quirkiness in there if you're patient enough. And it does conclude the story pretty close. Like it closes up the threads pretty well. I'm due for a rewatch. It's also full of just like banana bonkers imagery. And it does
Episode 8, baby.
Oh my god. And it does the thing I love where it's like it feeds into lore in a way that's like enough to give you crumbs and you want to piece it together. It doesn't feel frustrating. It also God, and the meditative stuff, like we were talking about this earlier. The mantra of like the white of the horse's eye, or like the drink from the well and descend, like it's such. I'm a sucker for that shit. I'm a sucker for that vague like cryptic and almost like demonic like stuff. I don't know. I love it. I'm due for a rewatch. It's cool.
Yeah, you're getting me excited. I need to sit down and check it out. I should rewatch the whole.
Have you done season 1 and 2? Kyle,
not in like years.
Oh Lord.
I mean,
so, like a lot of stuff I do not remember.
For the full effect, I do recommend rewatching Twin Peaks and Firewalk with Me.
Should I do it? What order should I do it in? Should I do Firewalk with Me?
Season 1. Do it in order of release.
Okay.
Wait, but you should also read the book, The Diary of Laura Palmer.
Oh, yeah. Holy shit.
Then keep going with the audio-visual materials.
They did
Just wanted to throw that in there. It's really good.
Tie-in book that came out in between. Yes. But yeah, I would honestly watch Firewalk with Me after season 2, just because contextually there's a lot in there that you're not supposed to know from season 1. So,
do you think is it still worth watching season 2?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Even with the boring
episodes.
parts, but like the problem is that the crumbs it feeds you are good enough, and then the conclusion is really good.
Yeah,
so
it's fantastic. There's just like 4 episodes you can get away with skipping, but the others are fantastic.
Yeah, it pays off. The slog does pay off. Like there is a payoff. So I would still say watch it.
Well, do you have anything else you'd like to recommend, Jorge?
On the side of games, I mean, this is gonna be a weird recommendation. I've been getting back into playing GameCube, but like through the Dolphin emulator. Damn it, Custom Robo is so cool.
It's really fun. Have you played that multiplayer? Game. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, that's how I play it with my brother. Like we've been like reconnecting through this, and it's just like a really neat little multiplayer game where you can tweak your robos with like he unlocked all the parts, so we get to like have fun with that.
You are also a sucker for a good robot battle arena kind of game.
I mean, I just love little guys. It's like I'm a sucker for that shit. And the story mode, if you please play the story mode, do listen to me. When you play the story mode, you're gonna receive every cutscene has a dialogue option. Pick the dumbest one. It's worth it every time. Pick the stupidest one. They actually do have like really good comedic beats in the story, but only if you are a piece of shit. I don't know. There's just like really weird writing in it, and it has that like old localization that was just having fun with it in a good way, not trying to like meme every fucking scene. I recommend it, and the game is pretty neat to boot. So
nice.
There you go.
Well, here, this segues nicely into my recommendation for a video game. Speaking of games that are more satisfying the worse of a person you are, I have been playing a lot more of Fear and Hunger lately. Again, I picked it back up. I saw you
playing that, yeah.
Yeah, and this has to come with a very firm and clear. This is a game that features a lot of sexual violence, a lot of graphic gore. You have to go in knowing that. And the sequel does a better job of being much more tasteful about that and removing a lot of the sexual violence. But I think if you're people still read Berserk. Like there are times and places for these things.
It can't be gratuitous. That's my rule. Like if you're gonna engage with darkness in a story, just don't make it gratuitous.
Yeah, and I think there is some gratuity, but it's in the it's always very clear of this is a dark, dangerous, horrible place. But I've been playing that again. And something that really just landed for me in my current session is I'm getting farther than I ever have by just completely abandoning my morality. By being the worst person I can possibly be, the game is significantly easier. When you choose your character, you kind of work through their backstory and you pick different options. The more moral option will always be do you fight with your mercenary band to try and help them, or do you just leave? And fighting with them gives you 30 silver pieces, and shops don't give you very much in that game, but leaving gives you like the dash skill, and that doubles your movement speed on the overworld in a game that is always putting timers on you. So it is substantially better to like to do that stuff. I found out that like, oh, there's a wolf companion you can get, and if you hack its limb off, because limbs can become infected, and this game always has systems that are interacting with another, you'll get a lucky wolf paw, which increases your luck way good, and the weapon I have has a high crit chance. And I'm like, well, I don't need the wolf character because I was already planning on getting the 2 knight characters, and I already need the girl. So I can just put the wolf on a ritual circle and sacrifice it and increase the level with the one of the gods. So like in another, like I'll probably do 2 playthroughs, and in one of the playthroughs it's like, well, you don't need the little girl, so you can just trade her off to another character that's buying children. And
oh my god.
It's like Darkest Dungeon. Like the worse you are, the more you're willing to subject your crew to terror, the more it's like, yeah, like that is what the world is asking for me. I am play acting through this dark and horrible dark fantasy. And I find it a game that is just fascinating how much the macabre elements of it pull me in. And it's a very mysterious game. I'm looking at wikis, and still there's like information that's not completely right, or is still like, why are the maps still bad? Like the game has this much of a cult following, and no one has made like a page of maps where I can just click on something and go to the next map. I have to like individually type the different maps and try to figure out which one I'm on. And yeah, so it still feels very mysterious, and I love that about it, even though it is a rough experience. It is not for everyone. So
yeah, I have a lot of trouble playing like a morally charged game like that. Even when it is just a game, I have to go through a lot of mental barriers to be like, okay,
yeah,
it's fine to do this, you know.
And the cool part is in that game, you can like do the hard mode, which is I'm going to do the mode where I try to save people and make good moral choices. And
I think it's cool that is the hard mode, because in real life it is difficult to do good things too. So I guess there is a commentary there. I just hope that it's not like, I don't know, that it doesn't fall flat on like the more aesthetic that's always what I'm afraid of, is to aestheticize suffering. Like I'm never really a big fan of that.
It's not always perfect on it, but I think I'm willing to meet it at its level, and it's clear that the developers has kind of learned since then. And I appreciate art that can kind of put me through these different emotions and make me have to consider that stuff when I'm, in the mood for it, and I am. And real quick, I will recommend, outside of gaming, I went to theaters to see the Chainsaw Man movie, and it was actually pretty good. I don't think I've seen an adaptation of an arc like that was as satisfyingly paced. I think a lot of the recent movies, like your Demon Slayer movies, like they're fun to see because it's seeing anime in the theater, which I still think is a lot of fun, despite the fact that I think that movies lately have been kind of not as good experiences going to the theater lately.
Okay.
But just something about the way it's paced made it so it could have a satisfying arc for its character, even though the major plot of the story has not been resolved. And like, I was sitting there in the movie thinking like, man, I really like these camera angles. And then I stopped and was like, these aren't camera angles, Kyle. Like, this is an animation. But like they're considering things. Like, you'll go to a scene and it'll have a steady cam shot where it's like wobbling a little, and they'll have like interesting angles that take into like the lens distortion. And I think it was just really cool that there was a level of consideration for an animation that it was very filmic, and you don't see a lot like that. And I commend the work that was done on it. Good movie. If you're into Chainsaw Man, it was a cool adaptation. That's my rant. George, do you have anything you'd like to recommend?
I recommend Stinky Tofu.
Yeah.
Tell us more about Stinky Tofu.
What is Stinky Tofu?
So about what was it, like 2 weeks ago on a Saturday, I got to experience traditional Chinese stinky tofu.
Taiwanese specifically.
Should we? The real Chinese stinky anyway, the Taiwanese stinky tofu. We ate it in a parking lot at a Dollar General in suburban Georgia with my good friend Kyle of Cute Monster Props fame.
I wonder who that is.
At a Taiwanese culture festival that was just the most fun I have had in I don't know how long, months. It's been
so funny how humanizing an experience it is to just like throw some food in front of people and just go, what do you think of that food?
It's not that stinky. It's just kind of pungent. It's like cheese.
The stink comes from like the oomph of its flavor.
That's the best way I can describe it. You taste the stink.
It's pungent tofu.
You smell a sort of attic dusty smell, which can have its charm every now and then. It did not make me wince. I did not react with pain or disgust with typical stink associations. It tastes like musty. It tastes like moldy fancy cheese, which also has its place. And I think we ate them with those fish chips, which we in the restaurant business, the shrimp chips. I was working in a cooking school for 7 years, and we always called them styrofoam chips because they kind of look and feel like styrofoam, but they're delicious and wonderful, and they have like no calories, so you can just gunk stuff on top of them and have some kind of Asian food version of nachos. And we were doing that with the stinky tofu with my good friends Kyle and Jorge at a weird suburban Georgia culture festival, and it was just reassuringly good times. Having some kind of event that gives you a sense of community that maybe the people out there are okay is so important to have to keep you sane right now.
Yeah, how humanizing was it that like our biggest problem that day was like, oh man, they're out of the stinky tofu. I hope they get more stinky tofu. They've been hyping up the stinky tofu.
And they got more stinky tofu.
Our heroes came back from their journey victors.
Yeah, there was a build-up, tension, a little moment of disappointment, and then the climax where the resolution all worked itself out. Mm-hmm. It was I highly recommend doing things in real life with your actual community. I enjoyed that far more than any movies or games I have lately.
I mean, I agree with you. We need that right now. We need to talk to our neighbors more, get to know the people who we are sharing the planet with, and we have to share the planet with more, and engaging with stuff outside of the isolation that we kind of put ourselves in through media consumption, which can be small talk is not a vapid thing. Like being able to present to the world around you that you are pleasant and not hostile is a very wonderful thing. Dude, if there's anything I miss from when I used to wake up at like 6 to 7 a.m., go to a flea market, was to meet weird people.
Oh, I know what I recommend.
What do you recommend?
I recommend watching the new season of King of the Hill and then going to do some weird suburban American South community experience that seems like something straight out of King of the Hill. Because
go watch King of the Hill. Go to a local fair or something.
But
go to an event that a library is throwing.
The latest King of the Hill has so many jokes about Asian communities popping up in the American South and kind of sort of saving the day for everyone else.
It's some of the best parts of Georgia are just its Asian communities.
What happened. And, I was looking at the shopping center they held this at, and on Google Street View from like 3 years ago, the stores were empty. There were no cars in the parking lot. There's just a Dollar General and a military surplus store. But then we came there, and there was a Dollar General and a military surplus store, and like a Chinese restaurant, a Korean restaurant, and then this big business, like Big Air, where kids go
like a trampoline
jump on
thing.
Trampolines. Yeah. And the parking lot was full and busy with this Taiwan festival going on. And it was just such a wonderful example of the American culture melting pot coming together to save the local economy and give everyone a good time.
Basically,
And it was weird that I had that after the King of the Hill revival. The King of the Hill revival is great. I recommend. There's tension and suspense and romance in this season of King of the Hill that was not in the original season. And in some certain respects, I'm almost wondering if this is like better than the main King of the Hill series, because you're scared. There's an edge to it. Like, Dale is scary now. Dale has gone off the deep end and gets violent every now and then.
Oh my god.
And so being able to laugh and feel good at these plots resolving themselves in a more scary, edgy setting and time was also very reinforcing and human.
The stakes feel a lot more real in this new season without it feeling dated.
Did you watch more of it? I think you said you got 3 or 4 episodes.
No, I was about halfway through.
Okay, good. So,
I really like it. I just put it down. So I need to finish it. Clearly,
it is phenomenal.
I feel like Twin Peaks and King of the Hill are like surprisingly similar experiences when you really boil it down.
Sure.
So I recommend going to local festivals and events, specifically if they're related to, if they have some kind of culturally exotic feel to them.
Of course.
From the immigrant community rather than the stale white bread community. And I also recommend watching King of the Hill at the same time so that you can get that wonderful mix of how the tension can make everything better.
Well, this has been Brain Lords, the podcast teaser.
Podcastable teaser.
The podcastable teaser. You can find us on social media at BrainLordsPod. If you've made it this far, please help us grow. 5-star ratings and word of mouth really do make a difference. You can find me on social media as Cute Monster Props, on my website, cutemonsterprops.com. Jorge, where can they find you?
I am right behind you, but when you turn the camera, you can't see me.
You can see the shadows, though.
You can see my shadows, and I'll cackle sometimes. But yeah, you can find me at jmanvelis on all the shitty fucking social media websites out right now. And at Fangamer, if you look up collections, JMV, that's me. That's all that stuff I make right now. I hope you like it.
Fangamer, a real website.
A real website.com. Oh, yeah. And George, where can we find you?
Where can we find you, and what are you doing?
I'm a YouTuber. I'm making a video essay about how some games play better in black and white. YouTube.com/Bunnyhop Show. If you type in Super Bunnyhop in Google, you'll find me. If you type in George Weidman, you'll find me in the local news articles about fighting the HOA that got taken over by Airbnb investors and are really ruining the fun
right now.
Yeah, really ruin the fun of living in this building. Kyle, do you remember how fun it was to live in this building 10 years ago?
Yeah, I could actually visit you in it and didn't have to worry about parking in it. You could invite people up for Sonic 06.
God. I used to have fighting game nights where we would fill the place up with friends and cook food and just
take
have
turns
a
playing
damn
VR
time.
and making tacos.
And now the management will like yell at me if I try to check guests in. And the guests don't even really like going in because it's all nasty and scary now. There's like stop work, building unsafe entry signs on the front door, firearms permitted, not permitted all over the front door. The staff are like kind of pissy about everything. Go experience your local community and do something to make it better.
Experience your local community so you can fuck up your local HOA board.
Exactly.
Just say
so you
like
can
a quick
fuck up the people.
HOA. Yeah, there you go.
Whoever's ruining the fun in your local community.
You can outnumber them. Hopefully.
Yeah, you probably do outnumber whoever's ruining the fun in your local community.
Mm-hmm. Well, questions, comments, and inquiries can go to brainlordspod@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube and all other places where podcasts are born. We have been your Brain Lords for this evening, reminding you that context beats content every time.
All right.
Yeah.
Peace the fuck out.
This has been Brain Lords. Did you like it?
Oh, no.
Please
thank us.
There we go. Yes.
Woo. On the next episode of Brain Lords. So there you have it. PT was one of the most influential games of its generation due to subtlety and ambiguity. Hey, how come every cheap horror game only copied the parts of PT about the ghost in the hallway? Special guest Bob Vids helps us navigate the purgatory of current horror games in The Games Inspired by PT. Hey, maybe if this episode is good enough, Bloober Team will rip it off.
Ronaldinho success! Whoa. Did you like it?